No, we've been looking at it, and we can meet that very easily by just putting a big tariff on the UK, so they better be careful. If they don't drop the tax, we'll probably put a big tariff on the UK. It's targeting great companies, but they're our companies. It's like us targeting their companies, which we could do very easily.
Donald Trump just dropped a bombshell, and Keir Starmer is standing right in the blast zone. Trump is demanding that London scrap its digital services tax on American tech giants or face tariffs, so crushing they could wipe out the revenue London was counting on. This is not just a political spat. It is an economic war with stakes so high that your pension, your savings, and even the price of groceries could be caught in the crossfire.
Donald Trump has issued a stark warning to the United Kingdom. Drop the tax on American tech giants or face tariffs.
Digital service tax is the kind of nicknamed the tech tax or big tech tax that kind of.
You mean they're going to put a tax on basically American companies?
It's already there, sir.
Did you say the UK?
Yes, sir. They made $1.3 billion last year. So is that something you would kind of investigate, call for it to be scrapped, have a look at?
We don't like it when they target American companies, because basically you're talking about our great American companies.
So what just happened? The United Kingdom decided to charge American tech giants Apple, Google, Meta, and Amazon a 2% tax on every pound they earn from British users. Simple enough, right? Britain needs revenue. Big tech makes billions. Problem solved. Except Washington did not see it that way. Trump looked at that 2% and did not see a tax. He saw a declaration of war against American dominance. He immediately threatened to slam massive tariffs on British goods, including cars, steel, and food exports, turning a quiet fiscal policy into a full-blown transatlantic crisis. Starmer's government went into immediate panic mode. Allies were summoned to checkers. Ministers vanished from TV screens. The Prime Minister's office locked down tighter than a bunker. That tells you everything about how serious this actually is.
Whether we like those companies or don't like them, they're American companies, and they're the top companies in the world. And we've been looking at it. UK did it, a couple of other people did it. They think they're going to make an easy buck. That's why they've all taken advantage of our country. They don't take advantage of it. No, we've been looking at it, and we can meet that very easily by just putting a big tariff on the UK, so they better be careful. If they don't drop the tax, we'll probably put a big tariff on the UK.
But here is what nobody is telling you. This fight is not about 2%. 2% is pocket change to Apple. They make more in a single afternoon than this tax collects in a month. The real battle is about who decides where digital value is created. Britain says value generated on British soil belongs to Britain. That sounds reasonable to you, doesn't it? But to Washington, that logic is a loaded gun. Because if Britain gets away with it, France copies, Germany follows, India jumps in, and suddenly every country on earth is taxing American tech giants into submission. Trump is not fighting over 2%. He is fighting to kill a precedent before it destroys American dominance forever.
At the centre of the dispute is Britain's digital services tax. It's a 2% levy on major tech firms operating in areas like social media, search engines, and online marketplaces, companies that generate significant revenue from UK users. That includes giants like Amazon, Google, Meta, and eBay.
Now think about Starmer's position right now. He came into power promising stability. He promised a reset with allies. He promised competent, calm, grown-up governance after years of conservative chaos. And within months, he is standing in the middle of the worst US-UK diplomatic rupture since the Suez Crisis in 1956. That comparison is not hyperbole. Foreign policy analysts are genuinely using those words. The last time relations were this fractured, Britain was humiliated on the world stage by an American president who pulled the rug from underneath a British military operation. History has a brutal sense of humor.
Washington has long opposed digital taxes like this, arguing they disproportionately target American companies. And now, Donald Trump is escalating that position, making clear there could be economic consequences if Britain refuses to back down. And the threat? Tariffs on UK goods.
Trump's frustration with Starmer is not limited to the digital tax either. That is what makes this situation genuinely explosive. Trump has publicly attacked Starmer over Britain's refusal to join American and Israeli military operations targeting Iran. He has criticized London's energy policies. He has hammered Britain's border control record.
With the president also saying on social media, "That's okay, Prime Minister Starmer, we don't need them any longer, but we will remember. We don't need people that join wars after we've already won."
And now he has the DST dispute as a perfect economic lever to apply maximum pressure across every single one of those fronts simultaneously. The tariff threat is not just about tech revenue. It is a message. Fall in line on Iran, fall in line on defense, fall in line on trade, or we will make your economy feel it. Britain's government is being squeezed from every direction at once, and Starmer looks like a man trying to hold back a flood with both hands tied behind his back.
Trump's tone towards the current UK government has hardened. He's repeatedly criticised the leadership of Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer, particularly on issues like energy policy, border control, and the stance on the war in Iran.
Here is where it gets even more complicated. King Charles is scheduled for a 4-day visit to the United States during America's 250th independence anniversary celebrations. The symbolism of that moment is supposed to be powerful. The world's most famous monarchy celebrating the birth of the republic that rejected it. A gesture of friendship across centuries. But that goodwill visit now hangs in genuinely uncertain diplomatic air, with trade threats and geopolitical tensions poisoning every conversation happening behind closed doors. The image of Charles and Trump shaking hands while British exporters panic about tariffs is exactly the kind of contradiction that makes the public lose trust in their leaders entirely.
King Charles is set to be on a charm offensive when he and wife Camilla meet with Donald Trump this month. As the special relationship between the US and UK reaches breaking point thanks to the hapless and hopeless British PM Keir Starmer's dithering on Iran.
You need to understand what tariffs on British goods actually mean for real people. British manufacturers who export to the United States operate on margins that cannot absorb a sudden 25% price increase. Jobs go, factories close, prices on both sides of the Atlantic rise. British pension funds that hold significant positions in American tech stocks would feel volatility every time Trump fires off another threat. Your retirement savings are not insulated from this. The financial exposure runs deeper than most people realize, and the media is too busy focusing on the political drama to explain the economic mechanics clearly enough.
Several countries have introduced similar digital taxes, while the OECD has been working for years on a global system to replace them, one that would now standardize how multinational tech giants are taxed across borders.
Meanwhile, every government on Earth is watching this dispute with intense focus. Countries that were quietly drafting their own digital services taxes are now recalibrating. Some will back off, scared by the tariff threats. Others will see Britain holding its ground and decide that the precedent is worth fighting for. The strategic ambiguity in Trump's threats, he never specifies exactly what tariff, exactly when, exactly on what goods, is deliberate. Vague threats are more paralyzing than specific ones because you cannot prepare defenses against something without clear dimensions. That ambiguity is doing enormous psychological and economic work without a single tariff actually being implemented yet.
There is a well-known phrase in America, taco, Trump always chickens out. It seems unlikely that Trump will actually push through with this, but as always with Trump, you might not take him literally, but you do have to take what he's saying seriously. I think this is an indication that he is still very, very angry with the UK. I think the hope is, at least among UK politicians, that even if Donald Trump and Keir Starmer's relationship can't be mended.
The United States can't realistically punish every country that adopts a digital services tax, so it has to strike early and hard to scare the rest. And Britain is the perfect target, first mover, closest ally, and heavily reliant on American defense ties. This isn't just a trade spat, it's a calculated warning shot. At the core is a brutal clash of systems. Digital giants extract massive value from users in countries like the UK, while booking profits in low-tax havens, and Britain's DST is a direct attempt to force that money back into its economy. Washington frames it as an attack on its companies. London sees it as overdue survival. Both positions hold, which means there's no neat compromise here. Just a power struggle where the outcome will be decided by who can exert more pressure faster.
Donald Trump has been digging the knife into our Prime Minister again, saying that the UK needs to change its way of doing immigration. But there is hope that the state visit of the King and Queen to the US will help sort of soothe a balm over this very, very fractured special relationship.
Right now, the raw power advantage belongs to Washington, but the moral and structural argument belongs to London. And the rest of the world is deciding which side of that equation matters more to their own national interest. If enough countries decide the structural argument wins, America's ability to protect its tech giants through bilateral pressure starts to collapse. If America successfully intimidates Britain into backing down, the global digital taxation reform movement loses a decade of momentum, and Silicon Valley's untaxed dominance continues unchecked.
Here's the real problem with Keir Starmer. Labour came to power offering one thing, change, and voters just don't believe that they've delivered on it. Even Labour's own MPs are pretty unhappy. One minister told me that they think the reason the PM is in such trouble is that ever since he took office, he's been unrelentingly gloomy and downbeat, talking about all the country's problems rather than how he's going to solve them.
Starmer is not just a prime minister dealing with a difficult ally. He's a man frozen at the crossroads of two unstoppable forces shaping the 21st century global economy. One force protects the richest corporations the world has ever seen. The other defends the sovereign rights of nations to tax what happens within their borders. And Starmer looks completely unarmed to face either. He didn't choose this crossroads. It chose him. And right now, as he stumbles under the pressure, the world is watching and wondering, will the UK stand firm, or will Starmer crumble under the weight of history itself?